Okay, welcome. Welcome, YouTubers, as well. You guys, please feel free to throw me a hi or a wave in the chat so I know you're there. And we'll get started in 1 minute. Let everybody log in. And we're good to go. All right. Okay, welcome. Oh, aloha, beautiful. We have someone here from Hawaii. We all want to come visit you. Please. I'm gonna come see you, I promise. Mm-hmm. All right, let's see everyone. Welcome, welcome. Welcome everybody joining. Welcome YouTube. Welcome the live stream. I'm gonna give you guys just a second here and then I have a kind of a jam-packed night tonight because I've got a little surprise for everybody. And so I wanna be able to get it all in. I'll get it all in, but it's gonna be an interesting night. So I'm gonna get started and then we'll just evolve from there. All right. Welcome, welcome. Let me get everybody logged in here the right way. Okay. Hello, hello. All right, let's all right, everybody. Welcome to the Truth Tribe. I'm Dawn Thompson, and thank you guys for being here. Remember that you are all perfect exactly where you are. There is nothing wrong with you, and that I love you all very much. So I want to begin with a little announcement. It is time to change things up a little bit. We have been doing this what's happening in the world crap for too many years, for at least too much for me. So I've decided that I'm done with the external drama. And so I'm switching Truth Tribe to start enhancing your vision about what's going on in your world personally, and how to understand your reality, what boulders or obstacles are holding you back with your own personal astrology user's manual. Okay, and I'm going to get into it in a minute, but tonight's topic on painful experiences reveal parasitic thoughts. It's a huge topic right now because we think everything's outside of us, and I want to make sure we're very clear that our minds are creating our reality, and we've got to be able to see this on paper. Oh, sorry about that. Thank you. I forgot to pull my mic over. You guys can hear me as well. Hopefully you can hear me now. Better? Okay, so Truth Tribe. I created it to give you your power back. And not only, to tell you just what your truth should be, because your truth is different than my truth, right? So your soul already knows that you're here to shine light and awaken all 12 aspects of your life. And so I'm going to be addressing from this point forward boulders, or as I call them, hot spots on your birth charts in Truth Tribe from now on. So I encourage you all to have yours handy during each call. Now, if you haven't taken the Zodiac wheels, your medicine wheel class, you can go grab it easy. It's an easy, simple, short course to learn your own personal hotspots at the end of this class tonight. Go on to my website, ideserveitnow.com, and you can get it easy. It's $9. It's not a big deal, but you're going to learn your 4 hotspots. So you're following along with the Truth Tribe from now on. A lot of you've already done work with me, so you already have yours. So just bring it with you to each Truth Tribe so you can start doing a self-review of like, this is where I'm being impacted, okay? Because you learn more by understanding what you're running from that keeps you in this loop of disappointment over the vision that you're running to. Clarity, you guys, and I've said this a lot, clarity of your vision is vital, absolutely. But getting there requires you to see the boulders that repeatedly are blocking your way, right? And it's the difference between manifesting or resonating. Manifesting is I have to manually do work to fester over this thing you're acting as if you don't have it. And I'm not a big fan of the word. And it's funny because my husband and I talked about this last night. And so I want you guys to understand resonating is resonating at a frequency matched to that thing. whatever it is. And if you're not resonating with it, it's because something in you is blocking you thinking you don't have it. And I call bullshit, because you do have it. God, divine love resides in all of you at all times, all day long, every day. And I know this is going to get people a little tripped up, but religion has screwed you. I mean, literally screwed you into a box. And I know this, and you all know this. If you do enough deep digging, most doctrines have been written and rewritten, especially the Bible, many, 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 many times. And within this, you forget through all these lifetimes and generations, before you had any of these indoctrinations of boxes or books, you were free of any doctrine. And you are already involved with advanced technology and inspiration and intuition beyond any box or books telling you that you are a sinner or to suffer or to be sick. Okay, this is your awakening, and you must choose to see that you have God codes within your divine consciousness, within your cells, codes to simply awaken the wilted petals in your life, because they're not wilted. They're just wilting slowly because we're not paying attention to them. Some of them are shining very brightly, right? And beautiful. But it's simply time to attend to the few wilted petals in your life and shine light on your darkness, on your pain, on the suffering, on the guilt, on the anger, on the sadness for good, right? And we're in a reality with so many trendy words and concepts. I mean, I even sometimes it's super confusing as to what's best for you. Manifesting, meditating, consciousness, awake, ascension, spirituality, evolving. What is the purpose of it if it brings you discomfort and confusion as to what is good for you? What you need are tools and clarity. And the world, you guys, and I know you all agree with me, the world is super weird right now. Not that it hasn't always been, right? But it's moved to a new fifth dimension weird. And we're in the fifth dimension. Those of you are like, are we going to get there? We're there. And you don't have directions on how to live in an infinite choice reality. And the simple answer is there is no out there, right? Everything is in your mind. Everything. Every experience, every relationship, every pain, everything is in your mind. So consciousness is simply the boxes of thought in your mind, or the happy, sad highway in your mind that you choose to drive on. And if your mind is ruminating over and over and it's radiating in 3D realities, and 3D realities is matter, physicality, okay? Black or white, separation or division, physical matter only. You are limiting your movement until you push yourself into past the fourth dimension to the fifth dimension, sixth dimension, seventh dimension, whatever mindset you choose. It's just a frequency of awareness that is beyond duality, good, bad, right, wrong, this, that. There's no left or right, right? There's no red or blue. There's no brown or black. There's no sick or healthy. There's no sinner or savior. It's only it's only what you choose to see, an illumination of that version of your reality. And if you want to be in the physical, dense, dark matter 3D reality, remember it's through a third dimension, a plane of existence, and there's a fourth dimension of plane of existence, and there's a fifth and sixth, and it goes on to infinity. Okay, so everyone is currently caught in the weeds of the garden, focusing on all the weeds. But it's because you're being forced to look out there, and I keep telling you, don't look out there. But it's more often the weeds that are what bring you to the garden. And the pain and the disappointments and the frustration are what are bringing you to your own garden of your own soul. And you can no longer avoid you, my friends. You can't do it. So silence is the highest, most good for you right now, because the more silent you are, the more you hear you. I've been in this huge solitude, transition, and it's been huge for me, which is why I'm switching the calls. We're always going to talk about you and your charts and your about you instead of all the bullshit out there. I'll bring it up, but I'm not going to focus on it. Now, are you ever free of your insecurities? No. You are, however, able to master them because they are simply your growth points. So it is crucial when you see them in order to grow confident and secure. It's so vital that you sit with it. and see more and pour more into it and love into that topic that is a uncomfortable insecurity for you. This thought about time and space, and I keep saying there's no time and space. Time is your enemy. Truth is your treasure. And the truth isn't out there. The truth is in here. So find a single thing daily to serve yourself huge energy dumps into the topic that is just pissing you off in your life. I mean, it could be money, excuse me. It could be your parents, your partners, your spouse, your career, your children, whatever. But it's always going to feel uncomfortable, like a boulder that's sitting between you and what you think you want. And what you think you want. No, your soul knows what you want, what you deserve, who you are. This is easy to see when you look at Saturn in your chart, which is why I'm going to have you. I posted it in the Truth Tribe wall. If you're not in Truth Tribe on Facebook, go request to be a friend in there, and you'll always see the posts. But just seeing where the planet, it's an H, okay? See it where it's sitting in your chart, and you're going to see that it's like a boulder on a pedal in your life. Like all these are pretty good, and all of a sudden you feel like there's a boulder sitting on this one pedal, crushing it. Okay, it represents many things. Okay, but Saturn is very like this weight, but it's so great too. Okay, it represents your daddy wounds, your career challenges, your broken foundation. It's your place of imprisonment. It's your jail sentence until you do what it's asking you to do. But I have yet to find a client who isn't avoiding it. Okay, so look at the zodiac wheel course and see what house, or your birth chart, right, that you get out of that course, and see what house your birth chart where Saturn sits, and simply ask yourself, is this area of my life wilted or dark? What does that house represent to you? And again, you guys all have the key in the Truth Tribe wall in our Facebook wall. I put it in there. I'm pull it up here in a minute at the end. But you have the key to know what that house in the zodiac wheel medicine class as well. It's in there as well. So it'll give you the key to what that house represents. Okay. And when you know what there's 12 houses, there's 12 petals. Okay. And so you've got to see just the house, just the petal that's being sat on by Saturn. Okay. Your soul holds these master codes in it, in your DNA and your cells. And the master codes are replicated in your birth chart, the spiritual birth chart. Okay, showing the universal planets that hold codes and numbers that match their energetic imprint on your spiritual and emotional and physical DNA. So your reality in your world, the world that you live in, is revealing the highway that you resonate with. Okay, low or high frequency of those codes on your chart. You will understand when you stand in the center of this lotus flower of 12 petals. Okay, you immediately know which is ready for a frequency upgrade. You're like, yeah, that one. I'm going to pull it up for you in a minute. That one right there, not doing so good. Yeah, that's not my best place. And yes, Saturn, everybody's bringing up in the chat. Feel free to bring them up. I'll touch on them in Q&A, but they're bringing up their Saturns and what part of their chart is. Guys, this area where it's sitting, it's just one of them. There's several of them, right? It must be mastered in your mind first. Actually, I shouldn't say that. It must be mastered in your heart, so that anything in your mind that doesn't match that vision in your heart, right? It must be tended to. And I rarely see people not avoiding that Saturn placement. I'll share the blessings from Saturn, because Saturn is actually one of my favorite planets, in a minute. But your challenging external relationships will always match the energy of that wilting petal in your life. Okay. And doesn't mean it's dead. It's just wilting a little bit. It's parched. Okay. And so someone asked, repeat, your external relationships will always match the energy of the wilting petal in your chart. So your spiritual DNA codes in your astrology chart match the universal codes that you came in with. You came from God, passed to the universe, planets tattooed on you, right? And they tattooed this energy grid on you saying, this is what you're going to work on, which is a match to the God healing codes in your astrology chart as well, not just the beatings. So your birth chart, and what's fascinating is seeing 4 simple hot spots that reveal your biggest challenges in your life. And these challenges will match. Get ready. Y'all ready? Challenging people, challenging experiences, challenging health, challenging life. So the joke is on all of us. People are not your challenges. They're energetic matches and images of you to see you. Resonance, right? Do you resonate with that? And if you're at a low frequency, you will resonate with low frequency experiences of that Saturn. If you resonate with high frequency of Saturn, you will resonate with that as well. So your daddy issues, which are very evident where Saturn sits, are for you to warrior the fuck up. I'm serious. It represents authority in your life, father, foundation, order, structures that you believe you are missing in your life. So you need to say, oh, it's sitting right there in that house and that pedal. I see my dad's abandonment in that area, or belittling in that area, or criticizing, or guilting, or abusing, or ignoring in that area of my life. That's what I do to myself and to others to avoid myself. And I repeat it in that specific area more so than any other areas of my life. It's that simple. Wherever Saturn sits, it's that topic, that controlled area that you have to look at to free yourself from jail. This is awakening, right? To see you choose, right? To see you choose you, that you chose your sign, you chose your chart, you chose the people, you chose the experiences in your life to see you, and your chart is just a tattoo. You might want to look at it. You're going to think always that it's other people making you miserable. No, they're not. You're seeing you. And when you see you, you have no choice than to override the entire system, because you get to choose how you live. That's you choosing to come here and become a master of all aspects of all 12 aspects of your life. Okay. All 12 petals of the lotus that you sit in the center. And when you're in the center and you're bringing sun to a flower, what happens? You brighten it up. You can't ignore the dark one. You will awaken to see that you're the sun in the center, and the light or the dark sonar that you send out into those relationships is the light or dark that will resonate in your reality with those people. So those people are showing you what you need to see in you. So if you have a muddy mind, okay, think about it. If you have a muddy mind, you're going to have a muddy life in those areas that you refuse to open the door to shine light into. This is programmed parasitic thinking. Okay. And I was like, do I go here tonight? I'm like, yeah, whatever, screw it. We're going to talk about it. Okay. This programmed parasitic thinking, these parasitic thoughts were programmed into you. Yes. And some of them you were programmed by dark demons and bad people for lifetimes. Yes. Are they outside of you? Yes. But you needed to see that darkness is also in you. We're all yin and yang, light and dark. You can't have one without the other, without being balanced. So yes, you have now done the work. All of you on these calls are warriors, right? And now you've done the work to evolve past any dark souls that had the ability to had control over you, over your thoughts, because you're evolving and raising your consciousness above their consciousness of the 4th dimensional plane that they will never rise above. We talked about this a couple of years ago, and I thought you guys need to remember this. Dark people in dark places who do dark things can never rise above their thought patterns and consciousness to control you above 4th dimension. And the 4th dimension is a plane of existence, a thought pattern. They will never get past the 4th plane looking down on you in the 3rd dimension of density plane of parasitic thinking, control, dark. Right? Because of that, they cannot create parasitic thoughts if you control your consciousness and the sonar you send out to stay in a 5th dimension of what is the light vision that I want to be in. Are these weak spots here? They're here for me to evolve and put light in and get above this bullshit that someone told me for eons on our lifetimes and our generations and our ancestors on this earth plane. I don't care what your family has been through. They birthed you to be a warrior to get them out of this bullshit too. So parasitic thoughts that you've had for so long and family generation lines of thoughts of sickness and suffering and sinning that you disallow, right, to exist in your mind ever again. Right. So if low frequency is not your consciousness anymore, third dimension, fourth dimension, right? You can't have parasitic bodies or parasitic environments or parasitic relationships. You just can't. Because fifth dimension is divine God consciousness where you choose the life you want. So you are seeing you in other people because that is the matrix controlled negative, dark, sick, sinning program thought patterns that you've been given throughout your entirety of the life on this planet and every past life and every generation before you. And now just listening to this call tonight is enough for you to open your eyes and realize you want to see those parasitic thoughts, not blame anyone, not to judge anyone. You need to warrior your power up to see the darkness because you're like, oh, I do have the power to put light in those wilted petals, those areas that I chose to raise up for my reality. But you came down to break and make ancestral history. You are literally going to break it and make history. And we've been in a sin and suffering pattern for so long, you don't even realize half of it, if not most of it, is not yours. But we haven't woken up. We are not waking up. And I'm telling you, look at it on paper and you'll go, oh, I am a badass. I just got to go and raise myself up in these couple areas, which may have been generational lifetimes. You're here. You're the warrior. So every relationship you have, every family member, every marriage partner, every child, every family, every friend that irritates the fuck out of you is there for you, to see the parasitic thinking that is ruminating in your mind. You're like, no, I don't think I'm as bad as them. Right, okay. If that's how you want to play it, that's cool, but you're going to still be miserable. So in order to get past it, you must acknowledge it's even there. Now, you must look on your own birth chart, guys. It's just your birth chart, and see Saturn trying to ground you, not grind you up. But it scares the crap out of you because you go, whoa, if I chose to evolve and grow where Saturn wants me to, my life will look different, and a lot of these people might not like it. So does this parasitic area of my life serve my highest good? Like, where in my life am I the host and I'm being drained of my life force energy? Right? Because the biggest hotspot that I see is revealing itself on the planet right now is Saturn, which is represented as Satan in some cultures. Not true, by the way, it's total bullshit. And Saturn is the aspect of your first chakra, right? Your base, right at your pelvis, your sexual organs, okay? Your physical body, your sexuality, your security, your emotional, financial, and physical being sits there, right? Which is where your things department comes in, okay? And so it's only symbolic of things, of your base, okay? But if you get obsessive about those things, sex, body, money, things, if you get obsessive about them, yeah, Saturn is going to beat your booty. Okay. It's only symbolic of being obsessed with things instead of raising your frequency and learning to create a foundation that is the one you want to stand on, the one you want to solidly build in your life. So look for Saturn in your own chart right now. Where does Saturn sit in the 12th house, the 12 houses of your chart? What department of your life is Saturn, right? The mountain of weight sitting on your life. Is this area of your life conflicted, infected, sick, angry, weighted, depressed? Right? Because remember that the planets represent frequencies that were tattooed on your soul when you were born, allowing you to see the structure of your reality or the suffering of your reality. It's the structure of your life that you need to climb. Now it all, like, everybody listens to Saturn. A lot of astrologers talk about like, oh, it's weight, it's heavy, right? It all seems bad, but that's the thing about consciousness. It's all a choice to learn low frequency spot that you dislike looking at. It's that simple. Because the blessings of Saturn is that it represents Capricorn, which represents your career and stability as well. So it's the part of your life that you came to climb that mountain. And everybody avoids climbing that mountain, right? You came to learn confidence in that department, right? So let me show you, I'm going to share my screen real quick. I'm going to show you a picture real quick. And let's see if I can show, let's see if it'll let me. Maybe not. Oh, here it is. Okay. So even if you don't know your chart, okay, but you're going to go get it. You're all going to go get the Zodiac Wheel class. You're going to just do these four. You're going to figure out where these 4 hotspots are in your life. I want you to look at the screen. Okay. And I want you to go, all right, if I don't know my chart, what is my weakest spot on that chart that I don't want to admit to, right? What is my weakest spot? Or if you know where your Saturn sits and you know it's in the first petal, the second petal, the third petal, where does Saturn sit and go, huh, do I have a challenge? And I'll bring this up in Q&A in a little bit so that we can talk about those who have brought up where Saturn sits in their chart. But I want you to think about it. It's like Saturn sits there and puts pressure on you. Like if you, if you do something else, are you going to screw this up? Right? If you avoid what's putting pressure on you in this area of your life. And so I want you to go look at what area of your reality of your life is truly wilting. And it's probably 1 or 2. But this chart also is, by the way, I did load this in the Facebook wall. And so just an FYI, it's there. Okay. So if you want to go see it and download it and save it, it's there. All right. And so when you look at that chart, mine's in the 12th house. My Saturn sits in the 12th house, right? And it's located in the mental health, institutions, imprisonment, spiritual, emotional. So until I started filling in that 12th house, now I went super spiritual, but I didn't go, this is my career. This is where I'm here to climb this mountain and show people what I do to break out of mental jail. I didn't catch it. I wasn't looking at it from all angles, right? And so instead of, until I started filling that area, instead of avoiding that area of my life, even my darkest thoughts and insecurities about being seen. 12th house is about not being seen. It's Pisces. So I kept getting the same stupid lessons with men and money, men and money. Saturn rules masculine, man, okay? So it was me, guys. I needed to release myself from my own imaginary jail. That's the house of institutions, of jail, of hospitals. This, where Saturn sits in any of your charts, and like I said, it's an easy way to find it. Go onto my, website, get a free truth. You will get your free chart there when you do the Zodiac Wheel. Guys, where Saturn sits, you ready? This is the prostitute in your chart where you need to see your worth and stop giving yourself away for free or for less than your worth. As crazy as it sounds, we are all prostituting ourselves out for less than we're worth in that area. Okay? This area, whatever topic, whatever petal of your life Saturn is sitting, this is the prostitute in your chart where you are prostituting your energy out, where you need to see your value and stop giving yourself away to that area for free or for less than your worth. So look at Saturn and see what house it sits or what petal it sits in your chart. Now decide, do you see yourself selling yourself for less than your worth in that department? I always used to give away my time for free. I was exhausted because I'm like, it's just topics and conversations and helping them see their thoughts. And I'm just like, oh my God, I was never not working. Never. So was I prostituting my time out for? Yes, I was lowering my worth. This is your lesson to start sitting in solitude in this area of your life and ask yourself, what is needed to fill yourself up in this category? What would you do if it didn't scare you? What would you do? Not what would they think? What's going to happen? What if I chose to go bigger? What would people do? No, 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 no. What would you do if it didn't scare you? That's your answer. And that's where Saturn will continue. Go research it, go Google it, go learn about it in the Zodiac. Well, it's a $9 class. Like, it's literally not going to break your bank. But I'm telling you, it's going to power you up because you're going to start getting to know yourself and know your blocks and know where you have a boulder sitting on you, why you feel like in that area of your life, you keep repeating this shit. Why you're being wishy-washy, why you're not being clear with people, why you're not being honest because you're avoiding it. Okay? So everybody really quick, let's repeat. I love this mantra. Repeat after me. I teleport into my dream reality now. Clap 3 times. I teleport into my dream reality now. That is the dream highway with all 12 aspects of you lit up like the most beautiful lotus flower you've ever seen. So I'm not going to get into too much this week of the planetary because there's not a whole lot going on. There's a lot of lingering. Remember last week's Gemini new moon, right? It was the beginning. It was a releasing because it was a new moon, a new beginning about curiosity, being flexible, multifaceted. It signified a fresh start and an opportunity for new beginning. But also as the moon aligned, right? The energy got super intense because it was aligned in 6 topics. All right. And again, it might have caused a tower moment for some of you, right? When you have that much energy jammed into one place saying, release and start new, it had to release whatever was left in your tower, your world, your reality, your relationships may have crashed. Your health, something came up. As ascension symptoms, as sickness, as fever, as illness, as tingling, as exhaustion, as run down, tired, thirsty. That was a big one for me. Always thirsty. Okay. It happened in order these symptoms were coming up as well to help you purge also this new beginning could happen. Okay. So that alignment of those 6 planets, the moon, your feelings, Mercury, communication, Mars, assertion, Jupiter, expansion, Saturn, your security, and you're avoiding that topic that would create security. Uranus, freedom, Neptune, creativity. They all came together in Gemini, except for Uranus, it was in Taurus, right? But they were all in this line, real close together. Expanding the theme for clarity in your life. And when you know what you want and you're not getting it, there's a boulder sitting on top of you, blocking you from it because you are already aligned with that vision. You can go both ways. Low frequency, like I said, of the TV wizard bullshit, selling you bullshit stories, old world blueprints of living, believing non-truth, and sit in shit blocking your expansion. Or you can choose to upgrade from that shit, quit looking outside of yourself, look at you, get quiet, get silent, and understand you and see your boulders, and then get filling in that topic where you feel a void. What I want to be very clear, the universe is listening to all of you right now, okay? So be very clear that you're right. It's time. I'm going to go head on at that mountain wherever Saturn sits in my life. And I'm going to start climbing that mountain and knowing even if I take 1 step a day, I got this. I got that area and I'm going to fill it up. Okay. All right. I'm going to go into Q&A. Just 1 second. Everybody here, tap into the thymus, your nervous system, your immune center. I am courage. I am love. I am truth. I know courage. I know love. I know truth. Tap it again. I am courage. I am love. I am truth. I know courage. I know love. I know truth. All right, guys, I'm going to open up Q&A. If any of you want to raise your hand, I'm happy to just bring your voice on. You don't have to share your video if you want more specifics. But if you want to find out about your, cool, I have someone coming up. Let me go into these few quick questions that came up here. Okay, someone's brought in, they have Taurus in the 11th house. Okay, so Saturn sitting in the 11th house, you have to investigate everything about your discomfort about being in public, where you feel blocked, sharing all your gifts to the public, where you feel blocked about bringing your talents out and leading the masses and bringing them with you and climbing that mountain in public, in the communal space. And you have to step on stage and follow that Saturn guide. Okay. It's a very big deal because 11th house represents the Aquarian energy typically. And Aquarius house represents friends, leadership, stepping into being part of society and social. And you question if you're good enough because Saturn puts a block and you go, well, if I get out there, are they going to like what I give them? Yes. If you step into it. Okay. All right, so I'm going to bring on someone here. Jill is willing to come on. And the next one was real quick. I'm going to bring her on just one second. What is the question again to ask that will scare us? Okay. What would you do? Okay, in this area, let's she's asking about the 11th house. What would you do if the 11th house didn't scare you and you completely showed up for your career out in the public and you drove them into all this beautiful healing energy that you have? What would you do in the public and the masses if it didn't scare you? Okay, so let's see, I'm going to bring on Jill here. Jill, I'm going to allow you to talk. Is that cool? Yeah, okay.
Am I on?
You are on. Welcome. Good to see you.
Good to be here.
How are you?
I'm pretty terrific. Not going to complain.
Okay.
I just came for a little vacation time,
I
and
love it.
now it's time to kind of get myself back on track.
So tell us about you. You showed us your I'm sorry, I gotta go read here. Your Saturn is in your birth chart is in the 4th house. Yes. So wherever your birth chart, guys, you can just go run a birth chart, okay? And go find out where Saturn is sitting. Now, again, if you want more clarity on all this is why I tell you all to go get the Zodiac class, or if you haven't taken private client coaching with me, okay? Now, because the 4th house Saturn sits in your 4th house, do you understand why you get tripped up about things that are outside of your 4th house? Like if you want to go do something different, do you feel like you're almost like a boulder sitting on top of you when you're at home, like you can't get out of it? Or there's something
Yes.
about being home that you can't get out of. There's something about you trying to do other things, but home is like almost like a burden to you. And so there's a question for you about how to be home. Something about home. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
How so?
Well, it's very easy and especially people who work from home will really understand this maybe. And I know you have, I know you do, and it is so easy to get distracted by all the other phone calls, all the things that you need to do at home. Perhaps it's people in your home, and it makes it very difficult to focus on your projects, your deadlines, your things, your wants, your needs. And then sometimes that's coupled with guilt because you work from home. It's a matter of, am I giving everything else the right attention? But I'm home, so therefore it's a convenience. So it gets sometimes tripped up with guilt. Am I taking again? But I take care of everybody else instead of my own things first, and then if I don't, there's guilt with that too.
Right. So do you see why putting energy into where Saturn is telling you, hey, are you afraid to go do something? Put some energy into this area saying, what is it from home that's okay with you so you can do other things? Like look at why home, it could be your spouse, your children, it could be down to your dogs, right? Like I put so much weight on them, which is I'll use them as the excuse and I'll find things at home
as my excuse or my boulder why I can't go do XYZ, whatever you said. Does that make sense?
It does.
And so this is a perfect example for everybody to understand, is that when you sit here and you start looking at where Saturn sits, it's not just one area. It's not like, well, at home, it's because I work from home. You do, but you really actually have the power to go do other things, but you're going to use things from home as boulders to block you from other advancement, which is one of the other hotspots we'll talk about on another day, right?
Yeah.
But
Yes.
that's my point is that if we don't start with where we feel blocked in our life. And again, you don't have to have your astrology chart, guys, for tonight or any night. I'm just saying it'll make it easier for you to understand these things. All you have to do is go look at that one topic in your area of that wheel I just posted. And when you look at the topic and you go, oh my gosh, if I look at those 12 topics, that area right there, that's my weak spot. Focus on that. If you don't want to do astrology, to me, I think it's stupid. Astrology has exploded in the last probably 5 years because everybody's like, we know how to look at ourselves now. We don't need out there. We know how to break these patterns and look at our own tattoo and undo this unwanted, toxic, parasitic thinking that we just didn't know we could. Now you know. Does that make sense for your chart too?
Absolutely. Because
So
one
go
of
ahead.
the things that I forget is that the whole guilt piece, whether it's toward family members or, like you said, dogs, it could be something I have to get done. And now, there's a grandchild. It means that I'm not accepting myself. And one of the things that I have read about this fourth house and Saturn being in it is that I am, the more I can fill that in, creates a greater sense of self-acceptance.
I love it.
But then the guilt starts to dissipate.
And the confidence grows. So the thing
Correct.
about all this, okay,
Correct.
so cool. Does that help you to make you see where you have to kind of pour into more of going, wait a minute, if I did what I wanted, would this boulder be sitting here as much, or would it be higher up on the mountain and not worry about it? And I can have it all.
Yes.
This
That's
actually is helping me, not hurting.
Yes. And a lot of people may think, oh, how hard is that? Well, it's hard when when that has not been, that's not been the priority. You have not made yourself and what you need with great clarity
in that area.
In that area. Yep.
Yeah. Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Okay, my friends, does that give you some clarity of how simple this works? If you start looking at that area of your life, you're going to start questioning what you're running away from, right? Or what you're using as your excuse. Saturn in my 12th house of spiritual, mental health, intuition, all that. I use spirituality as my excuse. I'm like, I do all the work. I'm spiritual. And that was Saturn rules foundation. So I wasn't building a foundation for all of you to break out of your freaking mental jails until now, right? But I didn't because I wanted to go, but I'm doing it. You're sort of doing it. You're fluffy doing it is what I'm sharing with all of you. Does that make sense? And so when you fluffy do it, it changes. You have less ability to see past it because there's something else there and it's still repeating. I see people with Saturn in the 12th house, Saturn in your 12th house. It could be in the sign of Pisces, making you wishy-washy about your career. You're not being clear. And so it's all these different things. Saturn up in your career house. You feel blocked that you're never achieving. You're never getting to the top of that mountain instead of going, wait a minute. Am I getting what I really want, or am I just feeling unsuccessful and non-achieving of my goals? You gotta look at the house. That's what all this counts for. Okay. All right. Someone else said, so is Saturn always bad? Okay. So it is not always bad. Actually, the gift of it is that Saturn's a sheriff. All Saturn is doing, my friends, is bringing you a subpoena from court saying, hey, look, you want to get out of jail? Do what I'm asking you to do. Learn what I'm asking you to do in this area, okay? It's one of my favorite planets because when you stop avoiding it and you learn the area that you're hiding from, it's the gift that just keeps giving because you're growing your confidence. And the second you take a step into it, you grow more confidence. And so Saturn creates foundation that keeps you stable. but you must learn that area of your life and keep building it. Does that make sense? Right? Okay, someone else just said, we certainly hear plenty of negativity around Saturn and Satan. Would you clarify and quickly address this for us? Yes, because that's religion that I was bringing up earlier. Religion trashes astrology or trashes the planets. It trashes anything that gives you back your power. And when you look at astrology, okay, I want you all to understand that astrology is simply symbols of the universe that reflect you in your core energy. And so if I show you the soul, this maybe, I think showing you a picture, guys, is going to make this a lot easier I'm going to share a screen one more time for you. And I think this is going to help you understand. This is a cool book I have, and I don't have all of the description, but if anybody wants to know where it is, this is the soul, your soul system. You came through as a soul, a spark of light. You were just light coming through the galaxy, and you have 7 chakras. Here's Saturn down here at the base. So they're like, oh, it's Satan. Satan is about bad and sexuality and darkness and down under and about things and having money. Money is the root of all evil and greedy. Bullshit. Because you were told that by religion. Again, you all know I'm not talking about God. God consciousness is in all of you, and God, you are divine consciousness. But Saturn sits right, here's your little Saturn with the rings at the base of this. And so if you can't see the base chakra right there, which rules your foundation of your whole entirety of your being, and here is the astrology wheel, you are the universe. Okay? And so it flows through you. And if you have a blocked or cracked foundation, guess how you're going to feel? Now, it's always going to show up in that area of your life, which is why I'm sharing all of this with you. Does that make sense? If you see the picture, that we have been told through religion that if you understand that the part of your soul has a tattoo of this beautiful foundational location for you, go build a foundation and pour beautiful clean cement and build a new foundation for yourself in that area of your life. Guess what? It says, good job. I'm so proud of you. Here, I'm the sheriff. I'm giving you the key. Let yourself out of jail. You're free to go live your best badass life. Okay? So that's the difference. Religion has screwed us. And I'm telling you, because it's at the base chakra, they've screwed you from understanding that you have an imprint of all this. And again, not the planet isn't in you, on you. It's the energetic imprint of the soul holding that energy in your being of your grid. Okay. Again, here's Saturn again. Satan, this Satan thinks this is fascinating that this is coming up for all of you. Someone says, so is where Saturn is in our birth chart where we have dark Satan thoughts? Guys, I'm not laughing at you. It breaks my heart that we've been so freaking programmed to be so small. Religion calls you were never a sinner before religious books were ever made, doctrines were ever written. You had technology that could heal yourself in an hour. So we got to get back to our 5th dimension and above thought patterns, consciousness. So let me get back to this question. So is where Saturn is in your birth chart where we have dark Satan thoughts? In a sense, because you don't like looking at it and we think Satan is a person or a thing. It's called darkness. It's a dark thought. It's a dark demon-esque kind of thought pattern that we have, right? So looking at that darkness within yourself, which is where Saturn energy sits, seems like a darkness when it's really your frame of your house and you don't like looking at the part of the foundation that you got to go chip out with the axe pick. You got to go mix up some new cement. It's going to take you a long time. You need help. You got to understand it. Okay. So yes, it's a less developed area. And what happens is then we've got to go look at that darkness and go, oh, I just got to water that petal. Yeah. But it's easier to focus on the easy part of your life, all these easy things that you're good at, and avoid this uncomfortable part where you have to go mix up some new cement and fix the crack. So it's simply your foundation, and it's different for everyone in every area of their life that they feel stuck. It represents your career. So you'll see that area may affect your career and use it as your excuse to avoid advancing your career. So typically where Saturn sits will avoid the topic going, I know I want to expand my career, but it's because of this. And it's not. It's because it's an area where we're avoiding filling in our foundation. And the foundation is a part of your base chakra. That's it. There's no satanic, there's no, now you can go be low frequency in all areas of your life and be a serial killer or a murderer or a pedo or a baby kidnapper or something. And you can do those things and you become low frequency, low Saturn, putting you in jail and going, you're a bad person and you're going to feel those parasitic, satanic, dark thoughts. Satanic is more of a dark area that we don't want to look at. And those are people that just energetically are drawn to that. That's where they're at. They don't want to go to high frequency light. That's why you guys live at 5D now, because anything below that can take you back into a reminder of that you're bad and sick and sinning. And that's bullshit. It's just a program. It's a thought pattern in your brain. And until you know where to look in your own brain, you're going to think everything outside of you is assholes, and it's not your fault. It is, because now you have control. All right. You have control. You have the power to break this. Does that help, my friends? Does that give you a little clarity of no matter where? And again, remember, Facebook, Truth Tribe with Dawn Thompson. You'll see my name there. You just go, yes, I'd like to be in here if you're not a member. And you can go download the wheel I just sent you. Or you get the same wheel in Zodiac Wheels, Your Metasumo. Just go onto my website, IDeserveItNow.com, and tap on courses and scroll. You'll see Zodiac Wheels. #1 is $9. Buy it, own it, sit. I think it's like maybe 45 minutes of time, if that, right? It's not very long. And you're going to see, oh my gosh, that area of my life I do struggle in, and I don't want to struggle anymore. Dawn said I'm a badass warrior, and I came here to change an entire historic timeline. And I'm here to make history. I'm here for that. That's why you all came here. That's why you're on these calls. That's why all of you have healed your bodies. That's why all of you have left these other boxes. We want it to be religion and spiritual, but the other boxes are just as dark, keeping you blocked in this going, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with me? You know, I remember one of our friends he just got off some meds stopping him from like the only way you can sleep is with or control. And now he's free because he controlled his body, his security, I want to be foundational and I choose how I'm going to sleep. No one's going to tell me. That's changing the thought pattern of the mental thinking in your grid. I'm just giving you guys one of the hot spots, and it's one of these areas in our life when people are like, how do I take back my power? Pretty fast. Those of you who just saw it said, oh, wow, this is fascinating. So it's not bad. No, not bad at all. I can look at the bad, I shouldn't say bad, the low frequency and falling kind of weighted into every single planet in the zodiac because they all match on you. So some of you can be maybe, manipulative at work because you've got Saturn there, or you've got a different sign there. Some of you can be a pansy, with partners, and you need to work on there. Like, it's all these different areas we have to focus on, but we're only focusing on this tonight because I want you guys to understand that the faster you understand what you're avoiding, the faster you start growing into the most badass, powerful self you've ever been. And that's what we're going to start doing, because you all deserve it. You all deserve to have all 12 petals, in your badass self. That's Christ consciousness. That's living with all aspects of yourself. When we start looking at Christ consciousness, you imagine that there's 12 petals, there are 12 disciples, there are 12 signs, there are 12 energies wrapped around you. You are choosing to live Christ consciousness the way Christ lived, or Buddha or Kali or all, Saint Germain. Doesn't matter who you choose as your guide, but going, oh, wow, they did a pretty damn good self to master themselves. That's all you're here to do. The external world is just showing you where you're avoiding. That's it. So again, reminding you, Facebook Truth Tribe group, it's free. You just got to go get added into it. And if you go, yes, I want to be a member, I'll cue you all in, and you can all see all these charts, and the key are all in there. So if you don't have one, but if not, they're all in the Zodiac class. Okay. So remember to learn your hotspots. If you don't have them and see your way out, grab that Zodiac wheel class. It's $9 on the website. Learn, number 2, your nurturing program. Maybe you're like, I do know these hotspots. Well, then you're going to go learn who programmed you in the IDI Academy, which will match those hotspots, guaranteed. Right? And then you're going to use that knowledge, and you're going to apply clarity to your dream life. You need tools. You need tools to go, oh, when I go out here, this is what I do. When I go out here, this is what I do. And then step 4, you're all going to come join me at the DMT method. And these 4 hotspots turn into all 12 aspects of your life. It's literally this on steroids. 1, imagine all of you at high frequency. And it does trip you up a little bit, because the parts of you that you all go, I'm working on it, Dawn. Are you really? Are you really? Because I call bullshit. I wasn't even working on parts of me that I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I'm avoiding this, right? I was avoiding it. And it just came and stared me down until I was like, okay, I'll do it. I'll do it. And then you do it. And you're like, oh, that wasn't as bad as I thought. All right. All right. So someone's asking if we can see the wheel again. We absolutely can. Let me show you the wheel. This is the wheel that I use. There's another wheel that I can show you that's a little bit more advanced. It's also in the Zodiac wheel chart. Or I'm sorry, the Zodiac wheel class. But I'll load a second one that's a little bit more advanced for you guys. That will help you see the difference, right? So if you can see on the wheel, okay, wherever you look you can look at anybody's Zodiac chart. You don't need to be an astrologer, and you go, oh my gosh, Saturn is sitting here in my partnership house. Yeah, I'm not real good with marriage. I'm not real good with business partners. I'm really afraid of them. What would happen if it didn't scare me to jump in? Some people are up here in the indoctrination and faith and knowledge and beliefs house. And they're like, if I change my beliefs, from this religion, I won't be loved. And the answer is bullshit. Like, it's very, promoting. This can be there's a lot. These houses are not just this simplistic. I just simplified this down because people get lost in these. I want you to just think about the topic of life that you get stuck in. Okay. Now, again, remember, this is on the Facebook wall. I'm going to close this up for a second. So you all can go there and download it and save it, and it'll be right there in 2 seconds if you just pull up the Facebook group. Okay. So from now on, you guys bring your birth charts. We're going to discuss one of the hot spots that I see affecting people, or it can affect your future. And then at Q&A, you can ask me anything you like about your chart or someone else's chart. Okay. If you're listening to this after the live session tonight on YouTube or Spotify, remember the links to get all of these, to get the Zodiac Wheel course, are in the notes below as always. So if there are no more questions, you don't have a chart and you just want to ask one of those topics of the wheel, I'm happy to touch that well. I'm not getting any more questions. Those were amazing questions. And there's some people here. We have a new guest, by the way, who stopped in. He made us a lot of comments, and he said, you know what, trauma, religion, it was my upbringing, right? And so personal convictions are coming up, dark roots. So he wants to go see them in his chart, which is awesome, because he should. It's beautiful. This is what I'm trying to tell you. There's nothing wrong with you. You just have a little bit of a mountain you got to climb that you've been avoiding because you didn't want to do it. But if you climb it, this new foundation starts evolving for all of you. It evolves for me too. It evolves for everybody. And I think we're making everything so difficult. There's a ton of astrologers. You want to go find astrology. You want to go see the future. You want to see what's coming. I don't believe in that. I believe we're here right now. So look at your tattoo on your soul right now and go, how do I grow my security, foundation, and power and spirituality and truth now? That's the goal from Truth Tribe this point forward. You guys, I love you very much. Thank you for joining me. You guys have a beautiful